really self-competitive. I grew up with brothers and friends, and I played sports, and I'm not a big guy, so I've always had people challenge me. I always wanted to stay in shape. At this point in my life, there's not a lot of organized sports that you can do. You're gonna either run, bike, or swim. When I'm training, I want to beat my last time. I'm proving it to me that I can be as close to the way I was before this injury, regardless of these things. I went to NC State first, and my degree was polymer chemistry. So there were huge college bills, so I thought I would join the Coast Guard, pay all those off. I like having a purpose. So that was the one good thing about out of the military branches being in the Coast Guard is you 24/7 have a purpose. You can drive into work and probably when you show up, you're going to go save a life. My specialty was anti-narcotics. That's kind of what I did until I retired. I found out about Southeastern Guide Dogs because I was searching on the internet through Google. I missed being around the military and I thought I would want to help veterans. And I also had just lost a dog. So I would type in veterans, look at that stuff for about a half hour, then type in dogs. All of a sudden I got a picture of a veteran standing there with a dog, and it was my friend Mike Jernigan. And I started looking at the website and I thought, oh man, I can volunteer here. And then I saw click on the link, and it was the live video of the puppy kennel. And then I saw where you could be a puppy raiser, and I thought, oh, Dave's in. So I applied. After about 3 months, they came up with a puppy named Bruce, and he was 8 weeks old. Perfect. Little black chunk, the little white belly, and he was my first. I raised Bruce, a Dawson, 2 Petey's. They were sponsored by the city of St. Petersburg, and I did a lot of puppy raising sitting. I picked up a new job training U.S. and foreign military to fly in C-130s and then work avionics on them. That required a lot of travel, so I stopped being a puppy raiser and area coordinator, but I would puppy sit, and that was the last I did until I got hurt. My friend and I were going back and forth to Utah, spending a week to 10 days there every other month for about a year. It was our last evening there. We had just left the Air Force Base, went back to the hotel. I'd been doing triathlons for a while by that point. I told my friend, after I'm done with my run, I'll come back and shower and then we'll go out to eat. So off I went on my 5K, and I come to near the end of my course that I always run, and I about 400 yards away see the hotel. Somebody doing about 60 to 65 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Couldn't make a real sharp curve in the road. Ran off the road and hit me from behind, and I ended up smashing into the windshield. And then when she tried to get back on the road, I ended up rolling off the hood underneath of her SUV, and she dragged me under her vehicle about 190 yards, I think. I guess I was still conscious because the first police officer on scene asked me my name, and I said David. I don't remember any of that. The paramedics came on scene, EMTs. There was a life flight helicopter taking off from the University of Utah Hospital just for a night training flight. They flew me into the hospital. When I woke up in the hospital, the first thing I saw was my dad leaning over me, and he said, Dave, you're in the hospital. You were hit by a vehicle and they had to remove your leg. They tried to amputate below the knee first, but I was still losing too much blood, so they finally went above the knee. And I remember feeling down my right leg, and I felt a little bit of a nub. The leg was dislocated from the hip and the pelvis was broken in half. And all the ribs on the right side were smashed. The 4 on the bottom were so bad, they replaced them. I have 4 titanium ribs. As far as anger and why me, probably for the first 2 years, yeah. The VA had me on some pretty heavy painkillers, So that might have played a role in my psychology. I also had a traumatic brain injury, which affects your emotions, your mood, your cognition, problem solving. But, as my brain healed, I was able to do better critical thinking. I became less judgmental. So this happened in August of 2014. I got my first prosthetic in March of 2015. And then in April of 2015, I went and did my first sprint St. Anthony's Triathlon and won it against regular people. So I was like, okay, yeah, now we're back. So nothing to be angry about. I proved that I can still do this stuff. So the injury didn't beat me, it didn't win. Well, I wanted to go back to puppy raising again because now I had time. And I didn't know it, but they were training this guy for me. And they had just hired a trainer that had experience and expertise in training dogs for mobility. Then one of the trainers said, hey, we have a dog that you might be interested in. So that's how we matched. Bob is fearless. I've taken him up a 15,000-foot mountain, so stepping between large rocks with a fake foot is tricky. I don't have balance, so I was able to put a hand on him and use him for balance. Going up and down stairs with an above-the-knee amputee is nearly impossible, even with a handrail. So if I fall, I call him over and he can do a brace and I can do a push-up off of him. We've done Manhattan, Brooklyn, Jersey City a lot. He lived with me on a boat. He's been around a lot with me, all around the country, everywhere. He has attitude. I guess I have attitude. Yeah, we're a good match.
View every episode of Dogs of Destiny at guidedogs.org/dogsofdestiny.